If you were to call me ignorant, I would have to agree. Because growing up, I actually believed that it meant something to be an American. It was actually something to take pride in. That we were the land of the free and the home of the brave. Once upon a time, that is what it meant. We now know that time is the revolution, when men, women, and children as young as 7 years old fought, died, and won for the freedoms that many of us take for granted, or just had always assumed would be there. Out of their blood and sacrifice, one of the most fundamental pieces of America was written and enacted. Every American should have learned it early on, taught as a core subject like math or reading. Yet here we are, with more than 21% of Americans that don't even know a single amendment, not one, written in our Constitution. A Constitution that people gave their lives for, and we barely remember what it guarantees. You think that's an accident? That kind of ignorance is the goal. Ever wonder why they push so hard to learn calculus but never taught us how to file taxes, or even bothered to tell us there's serious debate about what the tax laws actually are and how they're enforced? But hey, you know the square root of blah, 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 right? And you could show your work even though you have a calculator in your back pocket. We had one job, to prevent all of this. You know, the inevitable downfall our failure has now ensured. And we couldn't even do that because they never wanted us to know we held all the power. Total control doesn't come from people knowing their power and being willing to enforce it. Now you know why they wrote the book titled Dumbing Down of America. They say the average American has the knowledge of a fourth grader, and maybe it's because we're busy learning everything but the shit that truly mattered. And yet, the Supreme Court warned us. Case law literally states, where rights secured by the Constitution are involved, there can be no rulemaking nor legislation which could abrogate them. Translation: no law can take those rights away from us, not legally. But they knew it was only a matter of time, because history doesn't just repeat, it comes full circle. There's always someone who wants more money, more control, more power, and they'll do anything to get it, even unalive those who won't comply. The harsh reality, the one you've been trying so hard to look away from, to sweep under the rug, hoping it wouldn't move, revealing the mess underneath, has just been swept out from underneath our feet, like a magician moving the tablecloth and leaving the dishes. And much like the dishes left behind, all still standing upright, we too are still standing. For now, at least. Make no mistake, though, because that is just a false sense of security, pacifying us to keep us calm long enough and silent to the harm our tax dollars inflict on babies in other countries. What has become of us, where we are fear-mongered into our voluntary slavery and funding wars we have no place in being part of? Is there no compassion left in humanity? Are we all already unalive inside, to innocent children's lives being taken in the most horrific way? Has the world numbed us to the point that we just can't bother ourselves with other people's being exterminated? What will it take for us to feel again? Are we even capable of feeling anymore? I know that if it were my mom or sister in that situation, I would wish for people to not ignore. If the war was not so isolated in a land so far away, and it was knocking at my door, I know I would wish for someone to have compassion. Why must we let it come to those extremes before we say enough is enough? Before we stand and fight? At what point would our fight not be in vain? Would we not have already lost? Do you know the two most sold books in all of time? The Bible and the Diary of Anne Frank. In all the years past and present, and possibly the future, those two books have outsold any other author in the history of possibly forever. It fascinates me to think of the reasons behind this. Is it because those two books awaken something that feels real? Or that means something? Maybe because in those two books we can imagine how they must have felt. Yahusha as he was crucified. Anne Frank's mother as she starved herself because she had been throwing food over to her daughter she would never see again. The selflessness and compassion Yahusha had for the people he had once helped, and the fear that poor Anne Frank must have felt, and no mom to comfort her in her final days. Or maybe it's the way that we all tend to compare what we would have done differently, all the ways if had we been there then, claiming that we would have stood up and prevented such devastation. Yet here we are walking down the same road and doing nothing and being complacent. We are all but handing our freedom and the freedom of our children over without any fight at all. Of course, it's easy to watch Spider-Man and Batman through the stories of heroes, but nobody's willing to pay the cost it would actually take to become one, even at the salvation of their own children. No, that might jeopardize the false security we have convinced ourselves that we have, or maybe been fooled into believing actually exists. Here's the cold hard truth. There's a fine line between love and hate in this world, and who we are up against doesn't even love themselves, let alone us. And the one they are taking orders from doesn't just hate us, he loathes us. What is going on in Gaza and other places, what they are doing to women and children, is a calculated assault. It is intentional, and it is directed at our Father in heaven. Those on the fence, here's your sign. If he wasn't real, then why did they go out of their way to hurt him? Let me remind you of something in case you have forgotten. If you believe in God, Yahuwah or Yahusha, then you understand that we are all created by one Father. Every last one of us can be linked back to source, or at least those that are not reptiles, but that's a completely different subject. We can talk about that one later. Now, anybody that has lost someone that they deeply care about knows the pain that is felt when they die. I know personally I'll never forget the blood-curdling scream that came out of my mom the day she had to see my brother lying there lifeless. Within that scream, I could literally hear a piece of her die. I could, in that moment, feel her pain in her scream, a pain so unbearable it hurt to hear. The pain of losing my brother paled in comparison to that of my mother's, and nothing nobody could say or do would take that away. These people, they may be in a different country. You may have never met them, and they mean nothing to you, but our Father, he knows every last one of them. He took the time to create everything, down to their DNA. Those strangers are just as important to he who took the time to craft their existence, and he entrusted us to share this time on earth with them now. How we have failed at the 10 things he asked of us. We've ignored the fact that it has never been our place to judge one another, and we have forsaken his given sacrifice, his only begotten Son, and spat in the face everything that Yahusha stood for and tried to instill in us. As we sit here allowing pain to be inflicted on our siblings, we are missing the big picture. We are only hurting ourselves. We allow evil to control not only our emotions, but our actions, or lack thereof. And whether you like it or not, they are your brothers and your sisters. And every time one dies, can you imagine the pain our Father must endure? It has been said that to see evil and to know that it is happening and do nothing makes you just as guilty as the ones that are doing the actual harm. And if that's true, could any of us say that we actually deserve grace? Could any of us claim that we deserve to enter the golden gates of heaven? Satan won't win by force. He would win because we handed it over to him on a silver platter. If we can just continue to allow this kind of attack on the very reason for our existence, then maybe we don't deserve to exist. Maybe we don't deserve salvation, and maybe we don't deserve empathy when it is us on the chopping block. Maybe it is best to let fire rain down on us and burn away the evil that has taken the soul and made the heart cold. That is what these twisted assholes are counting on. They have their bunkers and they fear not, yet they have forgotten one key factor. Checkmate will be made by the Most High. It's not too late, because before this is all said and done, the 144,000 warriors often interpreted as faithful believers chosen to stand in the final battle against evil will rise. The 144,000 that will fight and win. They won't fight each other. They will fight with each other. And when that time comes, do you think that they will concern themselves with the color of each other's skin? Or if they are Democrat or Republican, gay or straight, male or female? No, I think not. They will uplift one another, shine light in the darkest of areas, fight evil for the greater good, without fear, in unison, with care and compassion for humanity, never losing sight of what makes us human, our ability to love and be loved. Everything you do and every choice you make will one day be judged by a divinity you can't even begin to comprehend. If that doesn't shake you to your core and make you want to stop this insanity,